let's talk about the game last night. Pittsburgh Steelers stomped Dolphins inevitably in the end. Now, Darren Waller has a couple touchdowns. Dolphins seemingly making some plays fourth quarter. They're just running it as a casual offense. This game's over. Let's get some preseason reps here. We'll kind of go about our business as if there is no sense of urgency. And, who knows how or why we got to that point. Is it because Tua doesn't understand what's going on? Is that because McDaniel doesn't trust him? Can they even operate a 2-minute? Who knows? Whatever. Nonetheless, let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, I just told the story about him throwing a beer can 80 yards from literally waking up out of bed from as a 38-year-old. He had that throw to DK where they had the great replay from the end zone on it where it looked like the ball is still just levitating, perfect spiral. We're in week 15 right now. He's been playing a lot of ball. He's still spinning it at his best level. The offense seemingly find it. MVS gets in the end zone. He might become a new deep threat for the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt's going to come back inevitably. That defense gets a win for the first time without TJ Watt on prime time. Just what are your expectations for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and what changed last night or maybe stayed the same in your mindset?
Yeah, nothing really changed for me off of last night's performance. Last night, I was way more disappointed in the Dolphins and myself for actually believing in them. But for Pittsburgh, the reality for Pittsburgh is this: for whether they can win the division and get in, and if they get in, can they be efficient on offense, and can they keep Rodgers clean? If they do those two things, yes, they'll have a shot versus someone in the playoffs. But those are a very big ask and or question mark if. Like last night in Miami, defensively, I really don't know what they were doing. I mean, they weren't very they didn't make things hard. They were very soft zone. They were just giving completions on a consistent basis to guys, and they never really got to Rodgers. And so do I think that if the Baltimore Ravens defense is going to do that? No. Do I think that the Houston Texans or the Jags defense in the playoffs, the Broncos defense in the playoffs would do that? No. So there's a very small margin of how Pittsburgh has to play. It's efficient because they're not explosive, and they got to keep people away from Rodgers. If they do that, they can play good enough on offense to be in a game, but I just don't think it's likely.
Okay, and for the Miami Dolphins, you're bummed out?
Man, I thought they were different.
They're the same cold Dolphins.
Dude, they were playing so much better. Their run game was awesome. Just the different stuff that they were doing. I thought going against a defense that was struggling against the run, I really thought they could go in there, make it a good game in the fourth quarter. Tua would make a throw or two. And they were in the first half, but that was because of their defense, not their offense. I was just so disappointed with the way they played. I'm disappointed with how Tua's played all year. I've been a huge fan of Tua's. I still am. But goodness gracious, man, the turnovers are just debilitating. And, performance last night only kind of reiterates a lot of the question marks about, the long-standing spot in the organization moving forward, which stinks because I'm a huge fan.
And for McDaniel and Tua, you're just saying maybe the future looks different for the Miami Dolphins, and you're saying that Gumpy is just going to have to kind of strap in for just another turnover. And here's the contract details for Tua Tagovailoa. If he's traded before June 1st, it's only a $45.2 million dead cap hit in 2026. If he's traded post June 1st, it's 13.4 in 2026 and then 31.8 in 2027. With where the cap is headed and how much money is already dead in most places, this feels like something the Dolphins would be willing to take on, but I guess another team would have to pick something up. B.A., what are your thoughts on any of the movement for potential Tua post-Dolphins?
Yeah, I don't see anybody picking up any of that money.
What?
Yeah.
Just the guy hasn't gotten any better, in my opinion, in the last 3 years. If anything, he's got worse. He took 2 sacks. You just throw the damn ball away.
Terrible.
You're running to your left. You're left-handed. You're 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you take 2 sacks.
What year is this for him?
Oh,
too many.
6, maybe.
Same as Burrow.
Yeah.
So
and Herbert. Yep.
Yeah, because the way we judge those quarterbacks is how situational football they are. What are they like with their football IQ? Yada yada yada. All those things. Yeah. And you talk about if Patrick Mahomes was to take a sack and not throw the ball away or something like that, we would bury him. Obviously, whenever we talk about guys who are in their 6th year, whenever we're talking about being in their 2nd contract, show me the money. to a bunch of fans that are showing up at a free event, probably because they do not have the ability to get tickets. So screaming that. We're talking about at least becoming an elite quarterback. Like, that is kind of the goal of the entire thing. And you're saying there's too many things that are just like very much on display. That
like Dan said, the first interception. He's got a 2-man route. They're playing cover 2.
Yeah.
You're trying to throw a corner route with nobody in the flat to hold the corner, and you throw it right to the corner. I mean, Asante Samuel's just standing there. Throw me the ball. And he did. I mean, that's inexcusable for a 6-year vet.
And they did do a little stat, too, on there to BA's point about how I think 15 of his interceptions are against zone. So, like, a lot of the times in man, it's awesome because he's got, high flyers all around, flying around. But when it's in zone, he's not really reading anything. He's just throwing to a spot. And then a guy like, Asante Samuel Jr. is just standing there.
When there's eyes on you, when they're just waiting literally for you to throw it to you, it's a little different than whenever everything was kind of operating full speed and you're throwing to a spot and everybody was kind of trying to figure out your game. I think now defenses get a book, right? That's kind of what the conversation
You get
is.
the book and you get the motions and you know the spots. I guarantee if you look at like a heat map of Tua, like it'll be between the numbers and the hash. Those would be like dark red, and everything else would be, blue or light blue. You know the spots. I guarantee if you look at like a heat map of Tua, like it'll be between the numbers and the hash. Those would be like dark red, and everything else would be, blue or light blue. And I always go back to like my ISO cam test. If I'm just watching the quarterback and I'm just watching Tua, as soon as he goes from his first read and he gets to his second read, his everything just gets off whack. His feet, his eyes, and it's almost like nothing good is going to happen. BA talked about it.
Yeah.
The sack, like taking those sacks, like you can't take at least make it a situation where you got to think about going for it in this situation. But when you take this sack, this is like something we talk about with rookie quarterbacks, where it's like, okay, you got to get used to the time. Understanding that throwaway is a good play. Like we're in
It was 14-3.
Yeah, we can't have these conversations. You're looking at his class, you're talking about Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, like those look like veteran quarterbacks. They'll have a bad day here and there, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to make the right plays.
All right, let's move past the Miami Dolphins, which look like a sad franchise.
Yeah. Absolute shite.
Looks like it's the Finkel days almost, but they can only dream to have a moment in which a missed kick would matter. Right?
They're in the middle of the purgatory, too, where they've won enough games where they won't have a big
How's
nice
the 14th pick?
No thanks.
Oh.
Me thinks that stinks.
Dan Marino was on the sideline last night, too, so the fans actually got a chance to see what glory almost times were like for the Miami Dolphins. And he's talking to Seven, who's obviously filled with wonderment of what he is seeing. Santa Claus actually came to the game last night. What you don't see on this camera is Dan Marino and Ben Roethlisberger seeing Santa Claus for the first time. Ben's like, Santa, this is obviously two magical moments.
I know what happened.
Okay.
Ben saw Aaron spin it, was like, oh, we're awesome.
For that pick.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that is potentially that moment. Actually, we would like you to tell us what this moment was. What do you think this reaction was to? Go ahead and comment below or post on X below or put in the Instagram comments below. Best responses will make the program tomorrow. Now, let's move past the Dolphins and the Steelers. AJ Hawk has a question for you, Dano, who has a husky poking up over his head.
Hey, Dano, I'm sure obviously you've been asked about Phil Rivers and his performance going out to Seattle, and probably should have won the game. Obviously, unbelievable kick there to win it, as well as 4 other kicks, I believe, in that night. What do you make of Phil's performance, and how tough is that really, if you think about it, coming off the couch after 5 years almost and having 3 days practice leading into this?
Yeah, I got tons of credit or tons of
respect.
Kudos to Philip for doing that. Credit to him for doing it. Unbelievable and very cool and courageous. And the post-game comments that he makes about his son and the kids that he gets to coach are awesome. Hopefully that they can learn from that and see hey, don't be scared. Don't be fear of failure. He was good. Got the ball out. I thought he moved in the pocket. He didn't look uncomfortable in the pocket that often. The ball went to the right place. You can tell he's still got smarts, still can throw it under 10 yards, right place, right time type of thing. That game is what it is because of the defense and really because of Seattle's offense right now and where they are more so than anything that Indy did offensively. So, really impressed by the fact that he was able to go out there and do it. But there's nothing really in that offense that makes me think this team's going to get in, or if they get in, they're going to, be a
Can he
threat
get
to
one or two
somebody.
wins here? Can he get one or two wins for him down the stretch, you think?
I don't think so, man. I think San Francisco, maybe. San Francisco's pass rush is relatively non-existent, and they'll be able to run it on San Francisco. But San Francisco's offense is just firing right now, and the way that they're playing and healthy, and Brock has been sensational. And then they play Jacksonville. Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence is on an absolute heater, and their offense can throw it around. I think that'll match up well versus that run game that Indy has from a defensive perspective. And then playing the end of the season, I believe they play Houston, which is a good luck. So I think it's hard to envision. If they can get maybe one, I don't think they get two.
Okay, so all these conversations that are being had by people on television about Phil Rivers' performance, and you can't throw the ball far. He's playing a Seattle Seahawks defense. They're very, very good. Now, you talk about down the stretch, you got the Niners defense and you got the Texans defense. So he's not playing like the easiest defenses to get dropped back into an NFL game. And maybe they're not allowing deep balls to be thrown. And Phil Rivers is too smart knowing that it's not my job to be out here to do any turnovers. We are trying to keep the ball. So I assume there's shots that he could have taken that he didn't, that I think with another week in an NFL building for the first time in half a decade, he's going to be letting that thing fly.
Oh, yeah.
Look for Phil Rivers to have a 20-plus yard completion on Monday night in the Loud House, in my eyes. But also, he put us in the right spots. Okay, and who knows what that team looks like without him. A lot of people saying Riley Leonard could have done that. AR is back to his return window. Cam Newton, who we are massive fans of and have a lot of respect for. He had a lot of people, and including himself, that were upset that he wasn't asked. It's like, all they're looking for right now is somebody to operate this offense, right? Isn't that kind of what they're trying to do?
It was our best option.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Phil was our best
Phil was
option.
the best option.
Maybe Riley Leonard. I don't know how much Riley knows, though. And I don't know how many defenses he has looked at and seen. I don't know any of that type of stuff. I'm not 100% sure if they would, if they haven't seen him actually in the games. But it was clear what they were looking for. We want somebody that's able to operate Shane Steichen's offense. And Jonathan Taylor is the one that's going to be winning us games or not. Literally everybody else has been saying that all season.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't afford to win that game. They couldn't afford Riley Leonard to go out and throw 4 interceptions, which is possible a rookie quarterback would do. Like, we just saw Max Brosmer do it not too many weeks ago. Like, they knew, hey, Phil might not be having a bunch of explosive plays, but he's not going to go out here and throw 5 picks, and we cannot turn the ball over if we want to win this game.
They got the entire AFC South down the stretch. Obviously, a lot on the line. Let's stay in the AFC South on a completely different side note, it feels like. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Talk about 2 young quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, you mentioned it earlier, him being on a heater. Obviously, he had a historical day on Sunday, but this last 5 weeks, they've won 5 in a row. He's been playing great. And then C.J. Stroud, too. I know he had to knock some rust off with Nick Haley, his OC. He's been playing well. What are you seeing from these 2 quarterbacks and these 2 offenses?
Yeah, I'll start with CJ. I think Houston, from an offensive perspective, is the most improved unit in football. If you go to what they were to the start of the season, offensive line was still a huge concern. The adjustments they've made on their offensive line has totally revamped this offense. The interior of their offensive line playing so much better. And now CJ, I think CJ's one of his superpowers, D-Bud, is like throwing the ball in the middle of the field. He's got great understanding of windows, the touch in between windows or over the top of windows. And then Nick Haley, as an offensive coordinator, I think he's the most improved offensive coordinator in football this year. We called their Monday night game on the road in Seattle 2 months ago, maybe 10 weeks ago, and it was like, whew, it feels like the same stuff of last year. And the way that they've brought 6 offensive linemen into the game, the way that they've gone back to underneath the center, the way that their young players have stepped up in Higgins, Kirk is healthy, Nico Collins is dominant, Woody Marks running the football. They're not trying to get overly creative with their run game. He comes from the Rams, and I think you're starting to see a lot of the stuff that Houston's doing has a lot of the elements that the Rams have done in the past. The keeper game, I continue to go to that. Matthew Stafford is running the keeper bootleg game more than anybody in the NFL. C.J. Stroud is in the top 5 when it comes to the usage of booting your quarterback out 5 or 6 times a game. And so we rave about Houston's defense, rightfully so. I've only seen this offense just get better and better and better. And Houston is much more a complete team today than they were, certainly in the middle of October. And it's not just about their defense. It's a great unit, but their offense is very, very good right now.
When you talk about throwing the ball over the middle of the field, though, because I see a lot of people take shots at other quarterbacks avoiding the middle of the field. What's so difficult about that, and what kind of separates quarterbacks that can attack the middle of the field and that can't?
Yeah, I think the middle of the field, number one, there's more bodies there, so there's more danger. Quarterbacks that throw the ball to the perimeter, more often than not, there's less people that you have to throw the ball through or over, and so it's a little bit more of a safe and confident throw. Throwing the ball over the middle of the field, you're usually having to throw one of two ways. In between people from a horizontal perspective, so you got to throw it with windows that are open before you want to and close faster than you kind of see them. So you got to be able to anticipate, but also throw the right pace of a football to this ball. He's holding Nico up. So you got to throw that ball in between that underneath defender of his right helmet, number 20, but also 27, excuse me, but also not pulling Nico into that backside defender. So that's a zone ball that's a dangerous throw that if you throw that ball on a line, 27 will back that one off. Down here in the red zone, this is you got to throw over people, but you can't throw it too high because there's usually a safety behind or out of bounds. And so that's the skill of throwing the ball over the middle of the field is anticipation. And for me, it's pace, a pace of a football of how fast or hard you're throwing it is a huge deal.
So real ball throwers can throw in the middle of the field.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference maker. That is, in baseball, it's can you see the curveball, right? That is the thing. Can you hit? That's how you get into that's how you get into the majors if the hitter can see the curveball and hit the curveball. So for quarterback, it's can you make the throws over the middle? Because you have to have good timing. You got to have good anticipation. You got to know where the ball's supposed to go. You got to know what the defense is doing. And you got to have elite arm talent, is what you're saying middle of the field kind of equals?
Yeah. Yeah, that throw right there. If we took that throw, that one that Nico, he just connects, if we just took that and did routes on air, you would sit there and if you just had CJ and Nico running the route, you would go, oh, the ball's behind Nico. And then you would sit there and say that's an accurate throw. But when we're playing real football and you're throwing with defenders and windows, that's the right throw at the right time. That's why I've always sat there and said, don't find me a quarterback who can make all the throws, make the right throw at the right time. That's the right throw at the right time. And so, yeah, I think that's a superpower of his, man. And I think also I would say this, there's some quarterbacks that, because scheme, the middle of the field gets schemed open, so it's a little bit easier.
But we'll know when those are happening, right?
High-level quarterback play.
We'll know when that's happening, though, right? For our eyes, our unquarterback.
But make it open.
That feels like that's not really the quarterback having the courage and the confidence, because the amount of things that go into every one of those throws. Confident in your arm, courage that your decision's the right one, and then also an understanding that this could go terribly while getting blasted in the face as you're doing that.
Troy was saying it last night on that touchdown pass to DK, where I think it was Davis, 21, his hand was he never even saw that safety because he just trusted. He still has the juice to kind of get it through it. It looked very similar to that touchdown throw against the Steelers when I think it was RC. Ryan Clark talks about that play. I think it was backside of quarters, and he had his arm and went right. But the quarterbacks, they just got to trust it, got to be able to let that thing rip too. Unbelievable throw, man.
Yeah, Aaron said there's nobody that's currently out of my frame that's going to get this ball before DK gets it. Is the decision that he's making in his head. He had no idea if a guy was coming, but if somebody was coming, there was no way they're going to get there. And that's the one you think, Aaron, whenever he came back after the injury or whenever he feels like he's in it, a strike over the middle to beat zone is a ball that quarterbacks can kind of, I don't want to say flex their shit on, but flex their shit on, Dio?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I mean,
how are you over the middle, Dan?
Level, right?
How are you over the middle?
Elite, surgical.
I wasn't good enough, bro. I wasn't good enough, nor courageous enough. I think if you watch Stafford right now, I mean, that's where some of the no-lookers come in. Again, zone people. With zone, you got to move people with your eyes. And so Stafford right now is lighting it up. Trevor Lawrence right now over the middle of the field to answer D-Butt's previous question. I think that, with Trevor, what you're seeing with Trevor is there's finally, and BA knows this at a high level too, when the quarterback truly believes in the play call and the people around him, it's almost to a point I could place this ball wherever I need to. I just have so much confidence in myself and the play call and the people. There's very much a Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay element to this, where as a play caller, as the quarterback, you're like, I have so much confidence in these play calls right now. I'm just going to cut this sucker loose because I believe the dudes will be open. And with Trevor, it feels like they've finally gotten him to this point where it's like, dude, just trust us. We're going to get guys open. See it, trust it, and rip it. And I think that's allowed him to be way more aggressive, way more confident, and also allowing him to not think as much and just react. And you're seeing some of the athleticism on display. Some of these, I mean, that throws off the charts good, dude, because he's going from that crosser to that in route on the backside. And he's hot right now. But I think a lot of it is to do with just the structure of the play call. Liam Cohen is dialing right now. Jacoby Myers has been a godsend for them. High level of confidence.
See it, trust it, rip it. That sounds like a quarterback meeting.
T-shirt.
Yeah, that sounds like something that is said on it's just like alignment assignment technique is in there. You know, like there are so many of those little quick reminders for people whenever they're doing their job. See it, trust it, rip it. What a cool thing, bruh.
Yeah.
I heard a bra at the end of it, too. I think that's probably how most quarterbacks.
That's an old Ron Turner thing.
Okay.
Ron Turner, we used to, with Frank Reich, and when I was in Indy with Peyton and Terry Collins and whatnot, that's a Frank Reich, Ron Turner thing.
Was he out West Coast, right?
Ron Turner, I think, was a part of a lot of different
Niners?
offenses.
I think.
Yeah.
Do I know?
That's
I,
Norv.
Norv.
Yeah, you thinking of Norv?
Norv is his brother.
Chargers.
Norv is with Aikman. PA probably knows him.
Yeah, they're all from the Ernie Zambezi and Don Coryell.
What's that?
From that tree.
Corleone?
They're from the Corleone family? Is that right?
Ernie Zambezi? Oh.
Oh, Zambezi. Yeah, they know. He used to gabagool that thing better than
Don
anybody.
Coryell was the best. Put it up the field, baby.
Yeah, and they called Ronnie Turner Ronnie play calls. Is he?
Norv, Ron, they all came out of that Coryell tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
Joe Gibbs and everybody.
Okay.
Oh, when you got Joe Gibbs, you got a good chance.
Yeah,
Yes, you
exactly.
do. Put your hands up. Who are we? The Commanders. That was a bar that guy dropped. Okay, let's get to some quarterbacks who can spin it, and we've seen spin it. But how long are they going to be spinning it for? Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Dano, everybody's kind of worried about the Cincinnati situation with Joe Burrow and the stuff going on, off the field. That's been alluded to. That's one thing. Hopefully everything for Joe is okay there. But just talking about on the field and in the building, like, what do you think Cincy can do to get this fixed? He gave this press conference basically about how he's not really having too much fun. Pat talked about it kind of earlier in the week this offseason when they made their team and built their team around 2 number 1 wide receivers and gave them all that money. Not many people thought it would work. How do you think Cincy can kind of make this happen for Joe Burrow so he's not in this miserable situation? And what do you think about the people calling him Boo-hoo Burrow on the internet? I can't believe I can't get it out, but it is sad. They're calling him Boo-hoo Burrow.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't really have any thought on that. I think that the problem in Cincinnati for Joe and really Jamar is like, where's the hope of the future? This is years of this kind of being the same story. Not drafting well enough, not developing well enough. The defense continues to fall apart. This was a historic performance last year from an offensive perspective and didn't get in. They can't protect. And so there's not a lot of evidence in the last 5 years in Cincinnati with Joe that they'll figure this out. So, like, what can get done? I don't really have that answer. I mean, the easy answer is, well, draft better and develop better and get good players. Could you sit there and say, like, a different philosophy scheme-wise? Maybe, but they score a ton of points. Zach Taylor can call an offense. We want to get rid of that. And so I think that's part of this is, like, Joe, I got to imagine sitting there going, what can I point to for a hope for the future? And for everybody sitting there saying, well, they gave him everything that he wants. They paid his 2 number 1 wide receivers. We've seen that at times in the NFL. We have. We're watching it in Philly. They've got 2 highly paid wide receivers be successful, and they've drafted well with some of their younger players. And so I'm not saying it's the best way, but they've been
Who's this
very
one?
bad.
For the Eagles. Who's this one right here? Sam, the quarterback. Hi. Who's this one right here? What's that? That's Saquon Barkley.
Saquon. Yeah. I mean, so
That's Saquon Barkley
I just
right here. So
I just don't know what to point to for them and say, like, if you fix this, it'll be better. His defense is been bad for years now. This offensive line can't keep them clean. It's not going to get fixed overnight. It's not going to just be one offseason and all of a sudden it's flipped.
So we think he had the realization that that's the truth? Joey B had somebody in his family go, hey, we've been trying to shield you from this. Okay, so you didn't start thinking like how everybody else was thinking, but this is probably what the team looks like next year too. And turns out probably the team after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? I hate to break it. Unless we get lucky on some draft picks, probably that next year. And then it's all starts spiraling. And then Joey B, who has always kept the blinders on and thought as if he could be the one that changes the Cincinnati Bengals franchise forever and brings a Super Bowl, a Lombardi there, and becomes the Ohio boy who delivered for the Bengals. If that doubt starts creeping in, that's not good. I don't like that at all, right? No matter how it gets in there. Yeah.
And I think the two quarterbacks that are getting correlated to situation-wise a little bit are Andrew Luck and Stafford. Because and you were around Luck, but like I remember Matthew got drafted, I believe in 2009.
Yes.
And the Lions, he would get beat up and they would lose. But like he had the 2011 season. They went to the playoffs and they were really good. And he was like, there was improvement. I think they went to the playoffs in 13 and 14 as well. So there wasn't this significant stretch 3 years in a row right now for Burrow not getting in while also getting beat up. And last year, the historic offense and bad defense. So there wasn't maybe as much with Matthew. And then with Andrew, I think Andrew went to the playoffs a decent amount in his first 4 or 5 years, right? Even though he was getting beat up.
Yeah, we went to the AFC Championship. Second year, I believe. First year, made it to the playoffs. And Coach B.A.
Wild card rookie, divisional championship.
You remember, rookie year, we would have went to the Super Bowl. Coach B.A. got sick in Baltimore. Happy you're okay, by the way, but we certainly missed your ass. I mean, that was certainly a game-changer morning of the game. But, yeah, there was success, and there was those types of things that keep you going, I think, and keep you believing that there's a chance that you can win here no matter what.
Well, and then when they finally figured out the offensive line, it was too late. Like, they finally drafted Quentin Nelson. They got all these pieces to, block for him, but then and he called it the year before, and that's when Jacoby Brissett stepped in.
Bia, your thoughts on the Joey Burrow situation that's currently brewing? Because can he find it again? Can he find the love? I mean, Carson Palmer, I guess, and you had him in Arizona. He has the best, what was the stat?
The only winning quarterback in the history of the Arizona Cardinals.
With a minimum of 50 starts.
Yeah, boom.
The only, how many? 50?
I think
10.
Oh,
What?
10 games.
That's a crazy stat. If that remains to be true, there's no quarterback that has a winning record for the Arizona Cardinals with a minimum of 10 starts, says the Marv space.
Kurt Warner, 30 and 31.
They went to a Super Bowl. Really?
Yeah,
that's
he was
what
one under. Yeah, because everybody responded, and there was a response. But nonetheless, Carson Palmer was that guy. You coached him out there. Obviously, you know Carson well. Carson was like, I'm quitting football. I'm not doing it anymore. And then finally forced his way out of Cincinnati. And I'm not saying Cincinnati Bengals organization is the same now as it was then. Obviously, there's been a lot of upgrades and things have changed. And there's an indoor facility. And maybe that's the universe saying,
they also forgot to shovel their seats this weekend.
Yeah, so maybe that's why the universe they're saying not so fast. But let's just assume they're two different organizations than then and now. But for Joey B., if he's lost like the drive at this stage, is this just middle of the season frustrations, you think? Does it change in the offseason, or what are your kind of thoughts on where he's at right now?
Yeah, it's very scary for me because I would have never guessed Andrew to retire, having coached him and how much he loved the game and how tough he was. I mean, for Joe to have the ball 40 minutes last week and no points, that's unheard of. That's usually 35, 40 points every time. So there's something missing, obviously. Hopefully it's not a mental health issue, but he's got to find his love for it for sure. That's for sure. And it's going to be a tough offseason for them.
Good luck, Joe.
Amen, brother.
I love you, Joe. Even this cat in the middle, will you meow at him a little bit when you sit back up? Will you sit back up just a little bit? Dano?
What cat? What are you talking about?
Will you sit back a little bit? Go to your left a little bit. And, stop. That's where you were.
You're doing.
You did that, though, for a lot of your answer. I want to let you know you're going to watch it back. You had
boom.
You had ears the whole time. It was awesome. And I was hoping he would purr or something. I didn't know what was going to take place.
Better than the
It's
hat.
a dog. It's a husky. It's not a cat.
Yeah, but with the size of your head versus the size of that particular painting, the ears looked like cat ears. It did not look like dog ears at all. No. So you were kind of a cat, kind of meow. There was no.
I hate cats.
Cats are good animals. Okay, they are.
Cats.
Why?
I'm watching.
What's going on?
They suck.
Damn.
They don't. Cats are pretty good animals, dude. They take care of themselves. They poop in their own places. They kind of just live amongst themselves. You can even have some cats that want a little bit of attention, so they'll act like dogs, and then they'll kind of leave you alone.
You like dogs, Dan?
Love dogs. Give me all the dogs and big dogs too. I'm not a little dog guy either.
There's a new big dog in my house, and I'll tell you what, this thing is.
What'd you get?
Wrecking ball. It is. We saved it from the Hamilton County Humane Society, which we are very grateful for. That Blue Heeler, you know what Bluey is? You know the cartoon Bluey? It's the type of dog is called a Blue Heeler dog. It's like a cattle dog or something like that. And when I was in Australia, where Bluey is actually from, I saw a couple of them on the street walking with a veteran man who had been in the military for 16 years. And he was walking without any leash with them downtown Brisbane, just walking with these two dogs. And I could see that they were a special breed of dog. They had like gray hair, a very cool look. So I went and asked him about it. I'm like, I kind of want a dog that just kind of trails me. Like, I'd be sick to just have one of those dogs that's just always on the lookout, you know? So I started talking to a lad, and also I'm in Australia. Everybody that I know is asleep right now because it's the opposite time of the world, so I'm talking to anybody I can over there. So I started chatting to this guy, learned his story, and he talks about these dogs are the best bloke, you know? He tells the entire thing about how loyal they are, how fast they are, how athletic they are, and everything like that. He said, but they are stubborn, though, lad. You know, he gets into the entire thing. So then we look at the list of dogs at the Hamilton County Humane Society. I believe it was on Thanksgiving we look into it. And this dog that is like Bluey, which is obviously Mackenzie's favorite cartoon is Bluey. And I saw the Bluey in Australia, told the story about it. There's a Bluey at the Humane Society. It's very abnormal. I don't think Blue Heelers are just kind of sitting at a Humane Society. So we go and look at this dog. Dog runs like the wind. I mean, it's a gazelle. It's like such an awesome dog, such a good personality, you know, very loyal. But what I forgot is how smart this thing was just kind of selling to us because it wanted to get the hell out of there. This dog is a psycho. I mean, you're talking about the most amount of energy out of any dog in history. You know those puppy zooms that puppies get? And puppies are small. This thing is this big, this large, zoomies around the house. I mean, jumps over full bed from one side of bed, doesn't touch bed, to other side, just casually galloping around the house. It's like, holy
What's it doing to the floors?
So,
pissing.
I didn't even think, bingo.
You got to put him on the treadmill, man. Get him on the treadmill, tire him out.
We're getting the geotag here for the Thunderdome. We're getting the geotag for the Thunderdome because we got a field over here. This thing needs to run. Like, this thing needs to be out there moving. I don't even know how it survived this long in our house. I'm running it upstairs from one side of the house to the other, like just trying to get some energy out of this thing. And I looked into it. I don't think that energy is ever leaving. Like, for the next 10 years, this thing is
at least
jacked
it's like
up.
a sheepdog or something.
It is, yes. Incredibly cool, nice, kind, sees Mackenzie, jumps over or around Mackenzie, like doesn't hit me. Like, this dog is awesome. It is
the best.
So kind, so cool. But geez Louise, it is way too big to have the amount of energy that it has. And I'm being told that this is the rest of its life. So we are promptly trying to find a way to get this energy out. And we're putting the electric thing here.
Yep.
And I think every morning I'm bringing this thing up, and I just got to, as far as I can for as many as I can with this dog. So, yeah, I love this dog. I love dogs, but it's a life changer. It's a life changer completely, that what's about to happen. But it is awesome, this dog. Awesome.
It's awesome. I want a Burmese mountain dog. That's the next one I want.
Big. Those are big. Yeah. Those are very big dogs. Hey, you look like a cat again. So on that note, let's get you the hell out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Dan Orlovsky. Meow, meow.
Hello.
Dano.